Bang, bang. Welcome, DFS dads and family. We are at the Open, the last major of the year. We are excited. This is a very difficult one from our perspective. We have our boy Price back on the call after a 2-week hiatus. Let's get into it. But first, I want to say, Price, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Nice little vacation of nothing DFS related for the most part. I'm still kind of texted back and forth, but get a couple weeks off after a year of grinding on this shit was nice.
Good. Come back and let's win $1 million.
Ooh, let's do it.
All right. We're at the Open, Royal St. George. Now, this tournament rotates between a few different places, but it's very difficult. It's a completely different style of golf. It is a link style. There's a lot of players that we're not too familiar with. Shot tracker is not a thing, so you can throw some stats out the window, or at least in tournament stats, make it a little bit more difficult. And it's a par 70. You might say, 7,200 yards is not a long course, but par 70 makes it tough. We have a par 3 this week that is 240 yards. And also you have a really big green. So 3-putt avoidance is a key stat. So the stats you're looking at can be a little bit different than what you're typically, I don't really value putting too much. I definitely put it in my model, but this week I'm definitely doing 3-putt avoidance because of the long putts. That's going to be huge. Scrambling, and then just knowing tournament history. I like tournament history, but this week I'm valuing that more. I don't know if Price has anything else that he's looking at, but tournament history is crucial. Even for the young guys, like I kind of want to stray away from them because they can struggle. What else, Price? Anything I'm missing there?
Not really. This one, I'd say you want accurate drivers off the tee. The rough's going to be pretty gnarly, like it typically is for an Open Championship. There's a shit ton of bunkers on this course. So you need to be at least above average coming out of the sand. I think we've had a handful of people withdraw or just say they're not coming over to play due to the travel restrictions.
And COVID, like Hideki is not playing again this week. He can't play. And then also
Bubba just got forced to pull out. So this is typically where most casual fans will pick a bunch of Americans, and most people who are DFS degenerates will pick a lot of Euros because it's a links course, which is predominantly played on the European tour. And you'll see a lot of the European guys in like the lower 7K and 6K range. But for the most part, it's going to be a difficult course. Going to play tough. If it gets windy, it's going to be damn hard. And looking forward to watching golf first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
When they're making the turn.
Yeah, 4 a.m., man. We're going to be up watching. So the one thing that is very challenging, another thing is the price. You kind of touched on it, but I do think you can't overstate the weather. Some weeks you can really overstate the weather, but you're looking at right now around 18 mile per hour wind, maybe a little less, but it can get really bad, and it can rain a lot. That you'll play through the rain. It can get pretty miserable. So let's start off at 9K and up. And I do think it is a mixture of Americans and Euro players. Is typically the best type of build. But Price, Jon Rahm is a player that you're scared if you don't put him in your lineup. But he is 11-3, so.
Yeah, he's like the enigma. He's been on fire. He finished 6th or 7th this past week after coming out dominating. He dominated the Memorial, won his next week out. He's on another level right now. But he is the most expensive and has pretty poor Open Championship history. Whereas he can drop down. Brooks is 600 less, but he has 4 top 10s or 3 top 10s in his last 4 Open Championships, which at 10-7 is pretty salty. He comes in ranked 2nd in my model. Looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take your boy Usti probably. He is like the ultimate grinder at a major. You just feel safe playing him. He's priced appropriately now at 9,300 instead of being like the 8,000 Louis where, he's going to smash value. Now yet you're forced, like he's priced over Morikawa and right below Justin Thomas. It's a major. There's going to be some soft pricing, but I think for the most part, this upper range is priced appropriately. And I would say Rahm is the number 1 play of in this range, and then I'd say Brooks and then Louis.
I love it. I will say that 9K and above, we got a lot of good players. I do want to fade majority of the top. The one player, like we mentioned with John Rahm, I'm scared not to play him. And so I'm going to put him in a lineup because of that. But I really like, if you go down to the bottom of the 9K range, you have Hatton. He has good course history. Got a 6th here. We didn't play in 2020, but in 2019. And then he got a 5th in 2016. So right down there at 9K. And then up at the top 9K range, 9.7 is Jordan Spieth. Talking about a scrambler, someone who's a great putter. He's won here in 2017. He's got a 9th and then a 20th last time out. He's been playing good golf. And so that's who I'm leaning towards. But you are making some good points with Brooks having good course history here. And then also Rory has pretty good course history. He has 3 top 5s. And then I played him in every lineup in 2019 and he missed the cut.
Yeah, it was his hometown.
Yeah. And he missed the cut.
Yeah. I feel like that was more pressure than anything. But for someone to have that great of a tournament history at Open Championships, to have 3 top 5s coming into your hometown and having all the pressure, I mean, it sucks because I was on Rory too, but I think he's definitely in consideration for this week for GPPs.
The one player that I'm avoiding, at least at our initial build outs and looks, is Bryson. He doesn't have good tournament history here. 9,900. He is a good putter. I think he's above average putter, but his around the green game, his scrambling, he's just not there. I personally think his 1 length clubs hurt him in his short game. He could probably name off 10 scientific reasons why that's not true, but I'm completely off Bryson, at least at this moment. That's pretty much it in this 9K range. There's a lot of good plays. So let's get down to where the money can be made. Let's go all the way down price to 7,400, all the way up to 8,900, and I'll let you start us off.
All right. So it's a major. So it's Paul Casey time, baby. He's been so damn good for the last year. He rates out top 5 for me. I mean, he's a guy who you can plug and play. He's still 8,600, so he's not too expensive. You can fit him in pretty much any build. He's a damn good golfer, hitting the ball great. He's mediocre at putting, but I mean, it's Englishman at the Open Championship. Sign me up. I was debating between Patrick Reed.
He has good history
or
here.
Shane Lowry. I think it's going to be Reed for me. He rates out pretty solid. He's like the definition of an American, like the American version of Louis Oosthuizen. He's a grinder, does well on hard courses. And then for my last pick, God, it's tough. Man,
I'll let you think on it.
It's hard because I don't really like this range. This is like a dead range for me for building lineups so far.
Yeah.
One play. I have Neiman. I bet on Neiman in January to win this tournament. He's 150 to 1. So
he rates out 10th in my model. He's 3rd in bogey avoidance and 9th in scrambling. And then another stat we have, putt from 10 to 15 feet. He's 13th. So, and we all know how good of a ball striker Neiman is. So there's that. I will say right below Hatton at 8,900 and right above Patrick Reed is Patrick Cantley, who is number 2 in my model. 1st in bogey avoidance, par 4, 450 to 500. He is 2nd key stat there, and he's number 3 in scrambling. And he has sneaky, decent course history. He's only played twice. He got a 12th and a 41st, but he is the type of player who's playing good golf, decent form as of late. And then he's played enough of this tournament to where I'm comfortable playing him where it's not his first or his second time. But even then, like, he's made the cut. He got the top 15. I had no problem playing Cantley here. But with that said, like, Patrick Reed is a grinder. He has good course history. I like to go on down, and a player who's intriguing that as of now he's making my cut. I don't think he's going to make my final build, but I have to digest a little bit. Is Tony Fenow. He has a 9th and a 3rd here his last 2 years, and he really pops out as well with his around the greens is actually not that bad, but where he pops out in the negative is his putting is par 4, 450, 500. He's 104, putting 133, and his scrambling and bogey avoidance is horrible as well. So he rates out 81st in my model, but I value course history more than the stat models for the strokes gained. But going below that, who I like to play and someone who's won Price a lot of money is Tommy Fleetwood. He has good form. He got a 12th here in 2018. And then the last outing, he got 2nd place. He also, let's see here. Where'd he go? His form is okay. Even when he got 35th and then 50th at the U.S. Open, he was gaining strokes. He's putting well. But there was some stat here I really liked here. All right. His around the green game is 16th, and also his scrambling and par 4, 450 to 500 is top 25 for me. So Tommy Fleetwood at 8K, I feel like is going to be my Louis O from the last major of popping off and playing some good golf, decent course history, and he rates out pretty well as well. All right. Anybody else in the upper 7K range maybe you like, or?
No.
I guess Neiman would be your play.
Yeah. I'd say he's probably my favorite of all the people in that. But I mean, it's just like with Rory, it's hard not to pick Lowry because Lowry is like the epitome of what you think of for an Open Championship player. Just a chubby Irishman who's going to get around the course, and he does pretty well at most majors. But that's just I don't know. It's the upper 7K range for me. It's hard because I like the top end guys and I like lower end guys. So I don't know honestly how much I'll be in this range.
Yeah. So let's go down to the 74 all the way down to the bottom. I'm excited to see if you have one or two little studs you want to preview for us. But I'll start off with another player that we played a lot when we were not younger, but a couple years back was Hendrick Stinson. He's won here flat out 7K. Could be a sneaky decent play to make the cut. Terrible form, but it is what it is. Zach Johnson, who I've played this past week, did well for me. He's actually won the Open Championship. It's crazy. He's won the Open and the Masters. We were talking beforehand. And so at 7K flat, I think he's a great play to make the cut here. He's known as a grinder. He's a great putter. He's not going to be in a bad position off the tee, and he can hit those low shots that are going to roll out and put himself in the position to score well. And if the wind picks up, if the rain starts hitting, I like Zach Johnson even more if the weather gets bad. All right, Price.
All right. So this is kind of I don't know what's going to make me do this, but Harris English is the first person who I looked at and was like, oh, I want to play him. I haven't gotten this motherfucker right in a year, but he ranks 4th in my model. He has 3, I think, top 12s in a row coming in. He rates out good. He's made the cut the last 2 times he's qualified for the Open Championship. He's a guy who's solid with his irons. So he's a solid putter, great short game. He avoids bogeys. He's good at scrambling, and he's solid at putting from 10 to 15 feet, which there's going to be a lot of par putts for 10 to 15 feet. So I think Harris English is a guy who's going to be very low owned and is a sneaky play. Guido's going to be super popular. I think he kind of had a coming out party at the PGA Champ. And so he rates really high for me. He's a young stud on the Euro Tour. I probably won't go there because I'm going to go to my cousin, Matt Wallace. He is a dude who grinds out hard courses. And then my next guy's going to be all the way down at 6,300, Jason Scrivener. He is 14th on tour, on the Euro Tour in strokes gained total. And he's 32nd strokes gained approach on that tour. He's 6,300. He has great form coming in. And he opens up the ability for you to play a whole bunch of people because he's so cheap. So I think those are the three I like there. Brendan Grace will probably also be very, very popular. And Jason Kokrak, because they're both 7,200. But I think you're right. If it plays tough, Zach Johnson could be a nice little play there. He'll get your top 40 at least.
Yeah, I like, you could play Harris English, Grace, Guido, and Zach Johnson, and then finish with just 2 complete studs. It's not a bad lineup. Brandon Grace, we're talking about him. He ranks 3rd in my model at 7,200, and Price hit the nail on the head with Harris English at 7,300. 4th in our model. So a lot of good plays. You don't have to go too far into the 6K range because you can play, in my personal opinion, a 7,100 and a 7,300 player, and then find one more value play a little higher up and complete a really good lineup. So that's it for us here on this Monday recap. Go check us out, DFS Dads, for our first look. Take a little bit deeper dive into the stats and what to expect. And then our deep dive. And also, we go over all of our picks. So every single player we are on Fanduel or Draftkings, we're going to pick for you. You obviously don't have to use that exact lineup. But if you're not about that, we have a deep dive that's going to break down every play that we want. And then also bets, we got you. And if you like MMA player, we give you the player and our exposure. So everything you could want on the open, check us out at dfsdads.com. Appreciate you. Let's go make some money this week.